Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching. Okay, so we're here in a new garage. This is actually Rollie's garage at his new house here. And we're going to be talking about a new Mustang project series that's coming to the channel. And I hope you guys get excited for it because we're definitely excited about it.
Big time.
And so as you can see here, you can probably see off in the little bit of the side, this is his 91 convertible. And we have a newcomer to the stable. We have a 93 Mustang GT hatchback. So I'm going to let Rollie explain more about the car here, how he came to getting it, and why he decided to get it, and stuff along those lines. And we'll dive into what the project's going to be all about. So tell us what we got here.
Sure. So in the previous videos, we talked about how we were going to, put a microsquirt in this car and just pretty much build it, all the way up and enjoy it. But I had been for the last couple months looking for a hardtop. Now I want a notchback, but if you know anything about these Fox bodies, they're a little inflated on price. So I was looking for a long time, like I said, a couple months. I found a couple of complete cars, running cars, which is kind of what I wanted, because the plan was to take the motor out of this car, the whole drivetrain really, engine, transmission, put it in whatever the donor car is going to be, take the motor and transmission of the donor car, put it back in the convertible, get it all running, and then sell it. Didn't quite go that way. Close, but not quite. About 3 weeks ago, I had contacted a guy about this car. He had it unlisted on Craigslist for like 10 minutes, so I jumped on it. Sent him a message. He said, you know what, man, I don't know if I want to sell it. I might have the money to keep it and this and that. And then he literally took the post down. It was up for like 27 minutes or something.
Yeah, and then you bought a house in a
right, yeah. Yeah. Then I was like, oh, I want to buy a house and a car for some reason because I'm insane, I guess. But yeah, so I bought a house, so everything kind of went on hold when it came to car stuff because, I have one, so. But that guy took the ad down, like I said, after about 30 minutes, right? So I was giving up on it, like, okay, never mind, I'll just keep on the search, we'll worry about it later, and then we'll get back to just doing what we're gonna do with this one anyway. Then the guy with this car actually got a hold of me out of the blue about 3 weeks after I first contacted him and said, hey, if you're still interested in this car, come take a look at it. Now, it's about 2.5 hours from here, so you gotta already be invested if you're gonna do that. So at first I was going to drive up, take a look at it, decide what I want to do, because obviously, again, if you know anything about these cars, it can even look good in the pictures. They almost always do. But for instance, that car doesn't look anywhere near as good in person, by the way. But they maybe don't look so good up close. You got rusted strut towers, you got banged up torque boxes, you got the interior is junk, and you're thinking about, well, I'm going to spend $5,000 on the car, and I'm going to spend $3,000 to get everything back up to where I can start, building it up. This car, on the other hand, I told the guy, I'm just going to commit. I'm going to come up there with money. I got a buddy with a truck and a trailer. We just drove up there. I handed him the money, and we started loading stuff up. Now, one huge caveat on this car is there's no motor in it. The guy had it. His brother had it before him and put a 351 in it, and then he got it from him and then put more money into the 351 and then blew it up. So, in the other room here, I have pretty much everything but the block, the rods, and the pistons. Literally every other piece is there. The 351 long tube swap headers, a nice set of, what are they, RPM, Edelbrock RPM heads, all kinds of stuff. And it was fuel injected too, so it wasn't a carbureted car. It had the full fuel injection Edelbrock Victor Jr. 351 kit on it, which is nice because we don't have to worry about the harness being all torn apart, the salt and pepper shakers are gone, because that's just another whole pain. So it does not have a motor in it. But that's okay, because we're going to just, take the drivetrain out of this. It did come with a T5 transmission and an aluminum drive shaft, some other things that we can use. The only caveat, again, is that we now have to find probably a long block. It's probably going to look for. You can get it pretty cheap, $300-400, and to plop back into that, get that all running tip-top, and then sell that, and then go back to doing this.
Yeah, let's talk more about this particular car.
The plus side of this car is that literally anything I would have done to a base GT if I got it is done. It's got Maximum Motorsport caster camber plates. It's got coilovers. I can't remember the brand of the struts.
It's a Kiko's. I think they're D-specs. They're the white ones.
Yeah, it's got the full Cobra disc brakes front and back. It's got 5-lug conversion. I'm pretty sure they're Moser axles, so that's nice. What else? It's got welded subframe connectors. It's already got the rear seat out with a full welded in 4-point cage. It looks like it's pretty much new. Rear battery box mount, which is also very nice. Another nice thing about this car is, the ad said rust free, all capital letters, 5 exclamation points. But everyone thinks their car, the guy told me this car was basically rust free, and as we know, and as you've probably noticed from the other videos, It's not terrible. The underneath is nice, but it has some issues. But this one really is pretty much rust free. The torque boxes are pristine. The strut towers don't even really have surface rust on them.
Big plus.
Big plus. The paint job's pretty recent. It's the vibrant reds.
Vibrant reds, the same as the 93 Cobra, yeah.
Grill insert. It's got some nice, pristine set of Terminator 18-inch rims on it. It's got nice tires. I mean,
17 by 9s, I think.
17 by 9s,
17 by 9s. They're the factory.
Well, yeah, I guess the 18s be a little big for one of these, wouldn't it? The interior is in really good shape.
Yeah.
The ashtray lid is perfect.
Ashtray door, the center console
yes.
piece actually latches.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. It even has a nice stereo in it, but which by the way, it actually had a big, huge bass box in it.
His favorite.
My favorite. If you've seen the other videos when we were taking this car apart in stage 1 on this thing, and it had that huge, you could whip a horse with cable. Has that in here too, although with the rear battery mount, you know, the cable's this long, it doesn't run through the whole car like this one, so we still haven't taken care of that yet. It's not really a priority, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's in great shape. It's a sunroof car, not terribly excited about that, but again, it is a nice, the seals are nice, it's in nice shape, the glass is nice, so it's functional, and it don't have any issues, so you don't have to replace it. So the guy actually said he had an extra one, but he said it was cracked, so whatever. But yeah, I mean, the car is in great shape. It's got a nice Cobra R hood. Again, grill insert. It's got newer headlights. Those are probably to get swapped for what I have in this car because I just like them better. Full Ford racing harnesses in it, which it's got to be interesting to loop those through factory seats, but I don't know. It even has, it looks like 86 GT Halo headrests in it, so. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy.
I think it's a good buy for what he got for it, plus all the parts and stuff. So it's almost kind of like you're getting the car for a lot less than actually what you pay for it. Because, like he said, we're going to use some of those parts, like the aluminum drive shaft. He was planning on doing that for this car anyway. It's already got like it's got a tubular K member, control arms, coilovers, like he said. It's got a lot of good parts on it and everything, so it's already ready, good to go. It's mostly just cleanup. And then also putting the drivetrain in it. So that's what we're going to cover in the project, and coming towards the fruition, kind of rounding it up here. We are going to microsquirt this car, and that's kind of why that whole project was put on hold to put it in this car, because like he said, we were going to go full tilt and just put everything we could on this car, and then he found this one. The deal worked out. He got it here. We're going to microsquirt this car after we get this car running with the factory computer and everything, because we don't want to be chasing our tails with a different computer system if something's not running right. So we'll get this car all put back together with this drivetrain, and we'll get it driving. He'll drive it for a couple weeks and something like that, and we'll probably start tackling the microsquirt later on this fall. So it's still coming, guys. It's just a little bit more delayed in the project phase, but essentially this is kind of going to be like we're going to do this in phases. We're going to do a stage 1 and stuff like that, where we actually do the cleanup, because now's a good time, since the engine is completely gone out of the bay, to clean up the wires, to actually re-spray the engine bay, clean it all up, make it look nice before the engine goes back in. Also cleaning up the brakes, because they do look a little weathered.
They're a little nasty.
So we'll clean up the brakes, so we'll clean up the engine bay, we'll clean up the wires, we'll do all that stuff here. We may tackle the door jams. We're going to come to a decision on that. And all the exterior trim on this car, it's all there. It's all complete. It's just some of it's starting to sun fade. And of course the quarter windows, as you guys know, Fox body owners, those, when they start to fade, they start to get that sandpaper kind of feel. These are actually in really good shape.
They're not bad.
They're just starting to do that. So we'll wet sand them down and everything. We'll see what we can work with. But we're going to go ahead and start taking apart all the trim. And we're going to respray it with some SCM trim black. And then we'll start tackling the engine bay. Pretty much getting the car in a cleanup phase. And then when it's ready to pull the motor out of this car, we'll clean that up too and then drop it in here. And then we'll put this car back together with most likely a stock long block. And we'll kind of just go from there. And then after everything's all said and done, we'll microsquirt this car and show you guys how to do the tuning, especially on an NA car. I figure you guys would appreciate that. Got a lot of cool stuff coming down the road here. So I'm happy because we got a lot more content coming for the channel. And I know you're really happy because it's a very straight 93 vibrant red GT, body straight, pretty much rust free.
All factory metal.
All factory metal, yeah. The fenders still have the Ford VIN tags. The doors still have the VIN tags at the bottom. It's a great little ride, great little pickup. It's gonna be a lot of fun to do the project. So, all right. So the begin stage 1 here. We're gonna start tackling the trim. We're gonna start disassembling everything. We'll take the hood off. We'll probably swap out the headlights because that's an easy job. pull all the trim, sand it down, paint it SCM trim black, put it all back together, and then we'll probably tackle the engine bay. So, do you have anything else you want to add?
I'm ready to go, man.
All right, so Rollie's ready to go here. Stay tuned definitely for the channel. We'll have multiple episodes coming for this particular build, and we'll get started here very soon with actually disassembly, and we'll prep stuff for paint.